Hello and welcome again. It is the Cartomancer. Thank you for returning once again. Happy Halloween as well. Today we're going to be doing something I've not done before, so forgive the chugging along, working it out as we go. But we're going to be doing a pick a card for November, our November overview. So we have three groups here, three different decks. I thought I would tell you what decks, but you know what? Let's keep it completely surprise. I mean, if you've seen these decks used, if you have these decks yourselves, you'll probably already know. But kind of keep it as you know straightforward as possible. So I'm not going to reveal the actual cards in the deck, but we do have three little groups that you can choose from. This first one, I'll give you a close up. Focus in on that. We have these cute little potion bottles that I make. They are usually made into earrings, but it keeps going out of focus. But this one's going to have a rose quartz and lapis, and I have this cute little dodecahedron as well. So you can kind of get a both for both. Boop, boop, boop. Forgive the glare. Boop, boop, boop. That's for the first one. I don't remember what kind of stone this is, but for second group, same deal, different flavors. So you get some focus. And I want to say this is a type of carnelian, but I could be wrong about that. And just as well, we have our little potion bottle here, and this is going to contain carnelian and smoky quartz. So if you like these two, you can choose this this group. Kind of matches the card as well. For the last one, we have this. I do know is a lapis lazuli, very sparkly. And then we also have this bottle as well. Get some focus on there. This one is going to be a smoky quartz and an obsidian. It's got some rosemary in there as well. I do make these little potion bottles for like altar purposes, ritual purposes. I normally make them into earrings so you can kind of wear them every day. You can set intentions around them as well. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I have them up on a shop. But that being said, we have our three groups. You can pick by the card on the back, by the potion bottle, by the larger stone. Whichever one you feel the most, whichever one you feel the most called to. Just choose with your first instinct. If you want to watch multiple groups, you're totally welcome to, but just try to pick one that is drawn to you the most. We do have oracle cards here that I've already pre-pulled. I have a few different ones, and I have not looked at these. There are a couple that flipped that I kind of got a glimpse of, but I have not seen all of these cards for each of these groups, so we'll get into those as we get into each individual reading. But again, November overview. Want to jump right into that, so go ahead and pause if you need to pick the right group for you, and I will include timestamps so you can just jump to the group that you end up picking. So have fun and enjoy. Hi and welcome group number ones. Group number one, we're looking at this really cool kind of dodecahedron sort of situation here, and we have our rose quartz and lapis mini potion right over here. Gorgeous. Trying to get it in focus. Got rose petals, I believe, yeah, oregano. So pretty. If you chose either of these, if you chose this deck, then you're going to be in group number one. I'll put your little friends over here, blah blah blah, just so you can remember which group is which. Let's actually set it here so it's a little out of the way, we don't knock anything over. So, as I mentioned in the introduction, I do have a bunch of oracle cards ready. I pre-pulled these, pre-picked these, so I don't really have any idea what's in here actually, but we will reveal these later after we pull kind of our main ideas, we'll call them. So we got our Ask the Witch Tarot. Let's kind of take a look. Couple of cards. Look at the art there. Really gorgeous art, very vibrant. So, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle here. We're looking for what we can expect for group 1 in the month of November. What can we expect in the month of November? What can we look forward to? What themes are going to be relevant? What is our November overview looking like? Ooh, my terrible shuffles. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're terrible, you know. Okay. Cool. And I'm going to also be pulling Lenormand as well. Thought I'd pull a couple cards at the start so we can get a more specific idea of what are the things that we can expect. What can we expect coming up in November? What can we expect coming up in November for group 1? What can we expect coming up in November for group 1? Garden. What can we expect coming up in November for group 1? What's going to be coming up in November for group 1? I don't normally do pre-pulled cards. Here we go. Oh, okay. I don't normally do pre-pulled cards, but I did so for the oracle. I just wanted to see how that would work out. We'll see how it all meets together. So to start off, we got some real curt energy, we'll call it. I'll pair those up with tarot cards as well. Get maybe some extra cards, focus in on different aspects if we have the time. So for the garden card, ooh, reverse page of cups, interesting. And for the coffin card, so the coffin card, what are we looking at for the month of November for group 1? The coffin card, almost coffin card. It's not wanting to. Ooh, too many. Ooh, there we go. This kind of came up upside down sideways, so I'm gonna just flip it and see, is this upright or reverse? Is this upright or reverse? It is reverse, so very firm about that. Okay. And then before we kind of dig in, we'll start off with these two. Cool. Set that to the side for now. And, I was going to reveal our oracle cards first, but let's just dig into this initial kind of energy here. So we have the garden, move that down a little so you can see the garden and the coffin. So right ahead, we can see some sort of event, teamwork, social group, maybe a community or a team you're a part of is ending. Something is going to be ending as far as like your community, whether that's friendship community, housing community, neighbors, like something within your community or some sort of event or conglomeration is going to be ending, or there could be some loss in regards to your community, the teams that you're part of, your social circles. There could be some grief or endings relating to that. So we have a positive and negative energy. They are net zero. So this isn't necessarily bad or good. I think it really depends on how you look at it more than anything else. We have the 20 and the 8 here, and that can narrow down to a 10. So it could be something where this ending is coming full circle around to a 1 and new beginning as well. So that's something to think about. But let's look at them in terms of the tarot as well. So we have the Page of Cups reversed paired with the Garden. And initially, I feel like we've gotten this in a different reading as well, but with this Page of Cups reverse, seems like maybe there's and just for people that are, you maybe haven't seen my readings before, I do like to give kind of my cursory, very objective looking at the imagery and extrapolating from there before we kind of go into the specifics of what the Page of Cups specifically represents. But just from the imagery here, it seems like there is maybe this opportunity here that is moving away, and I know that can be kind of alarming for some people. It's like, oh, I don't like the sound of opportunities leaving me. But with the Garden and Coffin here, it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It could very much just be something that you need to release. And that could be bad if you're having trouble with releasing or having trouble with, making changes in that respect. But it could just be there's some sort of maybe just instability, some naivete, or maybe something in regards to your community or the circles that you roll around in, maybe something that you are leaving yourself naive to, or that you just are not following your intuition on, is the best thing I could say. And the Two of Cups reverse is not lost to me. The Two of Cups is normally, the union card, love, completion. And we see this reverse with the Coffin as well. So this could just be doubling down on that ending. Maybe you needing to separate from something that you thought was a Two of Cups, but actually is not, something that you thought was going to be more fruitful, something that maybe you're just used to. You're used to this person, or this person being around, or you being around this space, this area, these ideas. But what you really have to do is sort of leave those behind. Like, you cannot, there's going to be that ending within that, social circle, we'll say. With the Two of Cups reversed as well, there's I'm not someone that wants to just tell you all the good things. I'm not gonna sugarcoat and just say all the fluffy, like, oh no, it's good. Everything will be good. In general, things will be good, even if you are facing this this ending within a friendship, relationship, whatever that may be. Some sort of connection is coming apart. It's really about the perspective. If you see it as a negative, it will be a negative. If you see it as a period where you can grow from that, I think it's important to consider why there may need to be this ending. Perhaps there is some immaturity, some naivete within this social circle. So there is a need for you to kind of cut yourself away from that. Maybe some like toxicity, or just something that's not fully formed, that you don't have to wait around until it is fully formed. You don't have to stop what you're doing or stop your development because someone or something within in your sphere is not quite at that level of, I want to say maturity, but just at the level that you are as far as development. So you may need to, reverse Two of Cups. This may be a breakup. It could be something that you initiate. It could be something that you don't expect. But this is normally, for a lot of like unexpected, we would get the scythe or the right, or something very quick kind of cuts through, happens really fast. But this seems like something that maybe you already know was coming. You already know what's kind of in the works. This is crazy, yeah. This Two of Cups reverse is really solidifying this whole square of just maybe needing to move away from or breaking up with a situation, a mindset, an environment, something that you just are needing to move away from in order to develop more, or someone that's moving away from you. So actually, let's now would be actually a perfect time to start digging into these oracle cards so we can kind of get a better picture of. And again, I haven't looked at any of these, so we'll be working through the relevance as we go. So we got the Moonology cards. We have your hard work is paying off, New Moon Capricorn, and we have New Moon and Virgo, a time to give rather than take. Now I find this very interesting. 2 new moons. And we have 8 and 2, 8 and 2. Everything's narrowing down to ones, to new beginnings, to fresh start. Maybe there is some sort of like with the page, kind of just jumping into something. But this new moon energy, it's blank slating. So maybe this is something that does indeed need to fall away in order to reach that blank slate. I will give you the card reads for this so that you can have more specific information. Maybe there's something specifically that I read that touches on you. Let's see. New Moon in Capricorn, your hard work is paying off. First and foremost, this card suggests a new start for you professionally. Whatever's been going on in your working life, this card heralds the start of a new and improved work cycle. If you're unhappy in your current job, this is the time to either renegotiate your position or look for something new. Here we go. Look, ending to teamwork, ending to, again, this isn't just, it doesn't have to just be a person. It could be an environment. It could be a job. It could be, a educational environment you put yourself in. Whatever your question, whether work-related or otherwise, a new plan and strategy is called for. You need to take a look at the long term and think about where you want to be in 12 months or 5 years' time. That will inform your best course of action now, so think seriously about it. Drawing this card suggests it's a time for you to be ambitious about whatever it is that you want to achieve. Make a proper plan and execute it well. You need to be more disciplined to reach your goal. Hard work will make your dreams a reality. A very good omen for study or teaching. Don't be too controlling and avoid anyone who is controlling. So that could be a key as well, is being around someone who has very controlling energy and not feeling like you have the freedom to kind of make the moves that you want to make because of that. So that may be the reason why you're needing to create this ending or creating this disconnect with that community, with that maybe insecure energy is coming up as well. Maybe needing to divorce yourself from some insecure energy that is preventing you from moving forward. With the new moon of Virgo, when this card comes up, it's time for you to take stock of your situation, where you are and where are you, and where do you want to go? The new moon energy of this card suggests a restart, and the Virgo energy suggests you make that restart a clever one that's simple and well organized. Virgo also has a strong health aspect to it, so if you've been unwell, this card suggests that your health is on the up. Virgo loves clean eating and alternative therapies, so add these into your routine. However you've been feeling. If a situation is blocked at the moment, it could be that you're overanalyzing things or being too critical. It's time to ask less what someone else can do for you and to think more about what you can do for others. Recommit to healthy morning and evening routines. Gradual improvements are coming. Pay attention to details if you want success without being pedantic. Be of service to others, and love and money will follow. The person you're asking about is reliable. So, yes, really getting the feeling of needing to kind of start over and maybe refocusing your energy on people and things that are more nourishing, or situations in which you can be of more service to others. Perhaps you're expending your energy on a person or on a situation that's really not giving anything to you, or really not giving anything to anyone. And it's time for you to kind of in the energy that you're putting into that so that you can put it into something that's going to be more fulfilling and more rewarding for you. So let's pull out as well. We got our Bronx cards. We have our Tarot by Bronx Everything Deck Oracle. I'll push these up as well. Bap, bap. So with this, we have fire sign, light or colored hair, angel guidance, or numbers. And that, look, was, as I mentioned before, 8 and 2, 1, 8 and 2, 1. We got fire sign energy. We have a lot of earth sign energy as well. Got some Aquarius and some, what's that, Scorpio. But yeah, so you could be dealing with the fire sign. They could have light colored hair. You could have lighter colored hair. Or this could be even referring to, more metaphorically, lightening the mind or having a more lighthearted thought process, lighthearted approach, your thoughts being more clear, more positive. Angel numbers and guidance, there could be a lot of guidance. You could be seeing a lot of angel numbers, but they could be trying to guide you towards your next step. So if you've been seeing numbers repeatedly, then keep that in mind. Maybe look into what those numbers might mean. Lastly, we also have our Crow Tarot, kind of doubling down on this idea. We have the 10 for community, the garden, same idea, and we have the 23 for growth. So yes, it's a different experience pulling cards beforehand, because it's always a bit of a surprise how poignant that they are. And yeah, with the community here, we got the 1 again, we got the 5, 2 and 3 for change. So this could be something that is just something that necessitates change. 2 and 8 here with the fire sign. We have another 1. We got the 9, and this is at 12, so 3s as well. So with the community and growth, again, kind of right off the bat, I'm getting this idea that you're needing to reevaluate the communities that you're part of in order to achieve that growth. And I will read through the meanings of those cards as well, so you can have a more specific idea. But, you know, if I get a message, I'll try to lay that out on the table beforehand. But you're needing to leave something behind. Or maybe something is going to be leaving, I don't want to say leaving you behind, but something is going to be separating from you. And while it may hurt initially, it could be something that is necessary for your growth. Changing your community, challenging your community, reforming it around your needs could be the thing that you need in order to achieve that growth. So for community, let's see. Lean on your community. Lean into the groups of people who you feel most at peace with during times of friction or stress. When you pull community, think of it as a nudge to connect with the group that interests you. Not only will you find new opportunities there, you will become part of a group focused on a similar goal. Community may also indicate that you would benefit from examining your relationships within a group or belief system. Are your goals and beliefs in alignment with the group's philosophy? Do you remain within a community simply because it's part of your history, but your involvement or participation is limited, and as a result, you feel disconnected? You may need to consider if the philosophy of your community that you no longer connect with is still impacting your decisions or your perception of events. So, yes, again, kind of doubling down on the idea that you need to move away from a specific community in order to achieve this growth, or you need to be reevaluating the communities that you're a part of, because you may be in a cycle of comfortability of this is what I'm used to, this is what I normally do, so this is what's comfortable. But that does not facilitate growth. That does not help you to grow into your highest self, is staying in the same cycles over and over again. So really look at the communities and groups you're part of, the work you're part of, the people that are around you. Which ones are serving you? Which ones are kind of there just to be there because it's comfortable. And then as far as growth, crows become more vocal and aggressive when it's time for the young ones to learn how to fly. This is a pivotal moment in the young bird's life. And once this lesson has been mastered, the world becomes so much greater. You too may be at a crucial moment, and the lesson may be difficult at first, but once you understand it, a new world will open up to you. It may be difficult to separate from this community, this group that you no longer need to be a part of, but discomfort is the facilitator of growth. Growth directs your attention to areas of your life that have been remarkably different as a result of gaining a skill or understanding that you did not possess in the past. For example, learning a new language may have opened up the door to new opportunities. Developing an understanding of your triggers that led to sabotaging behavior or habits can help you overcome a block that once created stagnation. Read that again. Developing an understanding of your triggers that lead to sabotaging behavior or habits can help you overcome a block that once created stagnation. You may pull this card if you're on the cusp of a growth spurt, as a change that will move your life in a new direction is approaching. So change is inevitable. It's the only constant in this world. A lot of people say this. It is very true, but you are the only person that can really get in the way of that growth. It's not other people. If there's somebody that you feel like, oh, they're inhibiting my growth, then then you have the free will at that point to separate yourself, to create distance, or to start anew without that blockage. You're responsible for your triggers. You're responsible for the people that you allow around yourself. You have control of all of those things. Sometimes we'd rather feel like we don't have any control, because then we don't actually have to put in the work to do anything. But overall, in November, it's looking like there's going to be some things that we have to reevaluate, Group 1, with the communities that we're in, the energy that we're putting out, where we're putting that energy, and there may need to be a separation of someone or something within that structure, within that group structure, in order to facilitate your growth. Reevaluating where you are at, what kind of communities you're in, what kind of cycles you continue to stay in, and figuring out whether or not those are healthy for you, and how we can start, what we need to do, what we need to release in order to start clearing off the slate, creating that blank slate so we can start anew. Anything you give up, anything you release, it allows room for more things to come in. So don't worry so much about how difficult it's going to be. This may sound very forward, but things are going to be difficult. Nothing is really easy. Things are going to be hard. And if we get ourselves caught up in how hard something's going to be, then we give ourselves kind of a excuse for paralysis. We don't do anything because everything seems too hard. It's going to be hard, and that's okay. You need to just fortify yourself, care for yourself, and know that whatever happens, you will get through it on the other side. Hard does not mean the end. Difficult does not mean nothing. It doesn't mean everything's full stop. It just means it's going to take a little bit more effort. But once you get through that other side, not only will you have the accomplishment of knowing that it's done, you don't have to worry about it anymore, but you also have the relief of not having it on your shoulders any longer. And you have that freedom, that free space, those loose shoulders to be able to carry what you want to and not what others have placed on you. So hopefully that was helpful. Definitely a pretty forward. I feel like I mentioned this in a different reading, one of my first readings, that these cards are very forward. They don't really hold anything back. They'll say exactly what it is. So I've been at the receiving end of that myself. So I'm hoping that this can... Oh, you know what? Let me not forget. So I did want to pull some advice cards as well. My Flora and Fauna deck, one of my favorites. I'm just going to pull one of these for just like a nice affirmation. This is a good affirmation for Group 1. Moving forward. Have a therapist. Most productive, most fulfilling November. What does Group 1 need to know? What is the advice for Group number 1 for November? Let's see, what do you need to know? What is your advice going into this month? Atlas Bear and the Forsythia Appreciation. Take charge. Use your mental and physical strength to overcome adversity. Protect and cherish what you love. So if that is not a affirmation, I don't know what is. Take charge. Use your strength to overcome any difficulties that you may come across, anything you need to release, any struggles around that, and protect and cherish what it is you love. Give your energy to the people that care and love for you, and you have so much more energy to do that if you're not placing it into things and people that, let's be frank, don't deserve it. Don't deserve your specific energy if you're not getting that reciprocal energy back. So it's a month of reevaluation, but it's going to be a good one. Everything's going to work out fine. Everything's going to work out well. It just may be more difficult than we really want to deal with, let's be honest. But again, hopefully this was helpful for you, and I will see you at the next reading. Have a good one, and have a great November. Hello, and welcome back. Hello to my pile 2s. If you chose this deck, or this stone, or this little mini potion, we can got up our carnelian and our smoky quartz in there. If you chose either of those 3, you are going to be in pile 2 today, and we are going to be reading for, as I mentioned, just a November overview, what we can expect, what to look out for, etc. Ooh, so far pile 1 was pretty great. I'm very excited to start pile 2. I've not done pick of cards before, so this was my first kind of foray. So I'm hoping that this is insightful. Hope you like the format. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, as I mentioned, I do have these oracle cards here. I'm going to pull those after we've done our Lenormand tarot overview. So we've got our Crow Tarot. Show you a couple photos from there. A little surprise. I have not shuffled at all yet. Shuffling on camera. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Perfect. So we're gonna hold those here. Excuse me. Apologies, jiggling. Let me adjust the camera and everything. Making myself comfortable. Get my notes as needed. So we are going to mess around with this Lenormand. Oop, pop those out of there. We're gonna get a couple cards for the Lenormand for group 2 to get the overview for November, this upcoming month. Get a couple cards for group 2. Let's get the Lenormand energy for this month. And we'll pair that up with a couple of tarot cards as well. So let's see what the Lenormand has in store. What does group 2 have in store, Spirit, for November? What does group 2 have in store for November? What does group 2 have in store for November? Oh, ooh. What does group 2 have in store for November? Ooh. A couple cards wanting to come out. What does group 2 have in store for November? Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Tower card and the mountain. So, yeah, what is up? It's a lot of really intense energy this next month. We have the tower and the mountain. So, tower usually represents authority, ego, isolation, solitude. And the mountain is delays, obstacles, struggles, challenges. So you could be having some struggles, some issues with an authority figure. You know, look at, could be the government. You could be having some governmental or like legal issues, but there could be some delays insofar as any sort of like authority figure, some struggles rather with authority figures coming up. This is giving very delay, stand still, so very kind of stagnant energy. This could be something that I'm hearing that has been going on for a while as well. So let's get some clarification on that. Ooh, already. Anything else? Ooh. And let's see, this happened last group as well. We're taking this upright or reversed? Upright or reversed? Upright. Cool. Okay, so we got the Tower paired with the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Mountain paired up with the, oh, we have 2 6s, as it happens. Oh, 3 6s. Change. Shifting. 3 6s. Releasing. Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah, this is, I mean, I will say for myself, just looking at it, it feels very heavy. Unfortunately, a little bit on the more difficult side, but as I always say, one, I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. I'm not gonna tell you something's happy when it's not, or something's, I'm not gonna pretend like something's not difficult when it is. But difficulty is not the end all be all. You know, everything is difficult. Everything changes. So it's just a matter of how we approach that and how we face that, ultimately. So group 2s. As usual, I'm going to kind of give you my precursory, just kind of reading directly off of the imagery here. I'm seeing with the Tower, with the 6 of Pentacles, maybe this could have to do with some sort of authority figure and there being a lack of reciprocity or balance, a lack of sharing. I feel like maybe this authority figure is just not giving in an equal way. You could also be the authority figure and perhaps you're not being fair or giving, being generous, in a balanced way. And with the Mountain and the 6 of Wands, kind of, let me see, because I'm getting some different, I'm getting some very specific vibes, we'll say. Yeah, because this is sort of the glory, the victory, you know, that the six of Wands, my bad. The 6 of Wands is generally the, you know, rumpusing through the streets, everybody kind of celebrating your wins. But maybe there is going to be a delay in that satisfaction or delay in that triumph over that authority figure. I would really like to get some clarification for this, because right now the things that keep coming up repeatedly is there being some sort of struggle with you being able to celebrate your victories, because of maybe the ego or because of this authority figure. It could simply also be just loneliness. Perhaps you're not able to really celebrate your victories because of this like solitude, maybe removing yourself from everyone else. So really there's nobody to celebrate with you. There's nobody to really you know what, before I say anything more, I actually really want to jump right into the oracle cards, this a little different from the first group because I really want to, I want to get a whole picture for this, especially because this is a little bit on the heavier end of things, so this may not be as, you know, fun and lighthearted as we expect or would want, but that doesn't make the message any less important or valuable. Forgive me, I'm just kind of digging into, and I'm gonna spread out these oracle cards because I'd really like to get a deeper idea. I'm also feeling like with this Tower card, with the Six of Pentacles, yeah, I just keep hearing like the person that is in charge, of the person that would have the power and responsibility, is not giving that generosity equally, I guess is the best way to put that. So you know what, let's just throw some oracle cards down. Let's start clarifying right off the bat. So we have the full moon in Libra, and again, I have not looked at these cards yet, I'm just looking at them now in regards to this. We have the void of course moon, nothing will come of this. Okay. For our, and we'll smush this in here so we can kind of get a look at everything all together. For our theme cards, we have air sign. That's the first group also got a specific, I think they got fire sign, but we have air sign, promotion or raise, and self-love. I see. Okay. This is kind of opening things up for me. And then with our Crow Oracle, we have 8 commitment and 16 dominance. Okay, yeah, this is definitely opening up. There's, I heard abuse of power, maybe. So this could be the issue here, is that you are not being allowed to shine or to triumph because there's somebody that's not sharing that equally. They're not sharing the means equally between everyone. And that may be causing you to reevaluate your commitment to that. Yes, okay, yeah. So, and this could have something to do with, but like this feels very much work related. Doesn't have to be, but this is feeling very much work related. Yeah, lots of earth and fire energy, and we got that air sign here as well. Air signs, fire, earth. I notice these match up perfectly. Yeah. And we have the 6s, and then we have a 7, and then we have an 8. And we have an 8 here as well. So this could be something that has the potential to progress out of. But I'm really getting this feeling of like being in a situation where you feel like you're not getting the dues that you're meant, because of some authority that's sort of holding that back from you, or not sharing the wealth of, you know, all the hard work equally amongst everyone. This could have to do with you sabotaging yourself insofar as with the self-love card here. It could be something that because you don't have a strong enough sense of self-love, or maybe something is inhibiting that sense of self-love, so you are accepting things that you should not have to. You're accepting treatment, you're accepting, keep looking at this dominance card here, you're accepting these things when you should not, because you're worth more than what they're putting you through, is what I'm hearing. A lot of times on a channel, I just kind of say whatever I'm feeling called to say. So even if it doesn't initially make sense to me, maybe a specific string of words that somebody needs to hear in that way. I have my labradorite here to help with channeling those messages as well. Some really heavy energy in November. so far for the groups. But this is a transformative time, especially with the eclipses. So anything that is not meant for us, anything that's toxic, that's destructive, anything like that is being ushered out of the door. And that so far has been a recurring message, is there's something here that is not serving you. There's something here that is almost torturing you, torturing your growth, and you need to move away from it. Maybe there's somebody getting in the way of a promotion or raise within your like work environment, somebody taking advantage of their authority. Yeah. And I keep looking at the Six of Coins, and normally you would read that as like generosity and balance, and it's with that Tower. I almost feel called to read it reverse, but yeah, it's really giving I just had this thought of like, maybe not even this person or this authority that's not giving you this generosity, but you needing to be more generous with yourself. You needing to be able to give yourself more credit or give yourself more dues. Maybe instead of relying on that from somebody else, because you may not get it the way that you want to. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the Moonology cards. Let's read those. So, full moon in Libra, win-win outcome is forecast. And the full moons are sort of the culmination, things kind of reaching their conclusion. So that could be relevant. It could be something where you just reached your conclusion with that thing. You've reached your end, and there's nothing else for it. Oh, I'm realizing you cannot see these very well, so I'm going to move these up a little bit so you can get a view of all of them. There we go. So for our new moon or full moon in Libra, a win-win outcome is forecast. The full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship, and that an important existing relationship is changing somehow. So again, this could be a dynamic with either your own self, your own ego, how you treat yourself, the grace you give yourself, the generosity that you give yourself, the ability to like see your wins. It could be something just very internal like that, or it could be specifically having to do with a situation or person where you're needing these things and you're not getting them from the person that you would expect to get them from. So that relationship to either self or to other people or to a situation probably needs to start to change. Perhaps coming to an end, or let's see, you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. Doubling down on this idea that there is maybe, this release is a very, very big idea this coming month. But let's see, this card can also refer to a professional relationship. There's a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. Balancing your ego with someone else's needs. So again, this doesn't have to, I know we talked a lot about being in a situation where this authority is kind of the blockage here, but you could be the blockage. Perhaps your ego is getting in the way with you developing yourself more. So there could be a blockage in that. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. So there could be even obstinacy. You could be very obstinate when it comes to sharing, when it comes to your generosity, when it comes to how you give yourself to others, or how you show up for yourself. Again, I keep seeing this self-love card. It feels more having to do with like the root of it being how you see yourself and treat yourself first. That first house energy, that ego energy. What are you coming from at your base, and how is that manifesting into how you show up to other people. Let's see. Let go of that which is falling away. See the other person through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a great time for a makeover. That Libra energy. So, yeah, repeatedly getting this this feeling of like there's something that you're needing to walk away from because it is not healthy for you. Got very similar message in another pile, but this has a lot more to do with either the situation, someone else, or you creating an unhealthy atmosphere around like give and take, around how much you give or how much you're expecting as well. It could be your ego fighting with someone else's ego within a work situation, perhaps something that you deserve you're not getting, but the person that you would need to get that from, like a raise or something like that, is just not receptive to that, or not or not willing to see your triumphs and reward you for that, reward you for the triumphs that you've made. Let's look at the void of course as well. Nothing will come of the situation, so this could be something deaded. This could be something that maybe you keep trying to put into when really it would be best to just cut your losses. But let's see, in the form of astrology known as horary, where an astrological chart is cast according to when the question is asked and decoded, a void of course moon means nothing will come of this matter, or this situation will bear no fruit. This may or may not be good news depending on what you're asking. For example, if you're worried about something, whatever it was, this card can be taken as a sign that there's nothing to worry about. However, if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it's a sign to adjust your expectations. Sorry, I am hearing the refuse truck. Give me 1 second. Okay, hopefully that curbed all the truck sounds from outside, but let's see. Where were we? However, if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it's a sign to adjust your expectations. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Woo, look, how many times we got to read that over? This is, apparently we need to reiterate this. However, if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it's a sign to adjust your expectations or change things so you get a different outcome. Remember, this card can only predict what you're currently creating, and you can change that with both your behavior and beliefs. Free will. Free will is your magic power. So regardless of what this says, regardless of what the current energies are, knowing is the thing that allows you to make different decisions, to go different directions as you need to. I trust in my highest good. The chances of something are diminishing. Something better may be around the corner. Believe that you will get what you need. Surrender to the divine. Take time out, meditate, and contemplate. So yeah, it's really feeling like something is meant to move away, or something that you were holding on to, perhaps something that you're currently in is just not, it's not giving, to put it frankly. It's just not giving. I really want to get into these commitment and dominance cards because they are kind of screaming at me in my periphery, but this is really this is really giving. There's a commitment here. Maybe it's to yourself, maybe it's your commitment to yourself being tested, or a commitment outside of yourself that is being tested, and you needing to evaluate whether it's something that will give you the success that you want. Or maybe there's some struggle around you achieving that success. Yeah, let's look at the commitment card. Number 8 as well. Nature photographer June Hunter has documented the lives of a pair of crows she calls George and Mabel and their commitment to one another. When George's beak broke due to an accident, his loving and faithful partner Mabel took over to ensure that George was fed and protected. When they coupled up, they agreed for better or worse, in sickness and in health. This loving pair remains committed. The commitment card asks that you examine areas where you have entered into an obligation. Are you ready to put in the work if needed? Are you willing to sacrifice something to ensure you stay true to your word? If it is a goal you're committed to seeing through to completion, are you willing to offer your time and resources? So yes, this could be something insofar as there being a struggle around how much you're willing to give or how much you're willing to commit, how generous you are being with yourself and your time in order to make these things happen. So that is actually that kind of a strong message came out of nowhere. This could have very much to do with how much you are committing to creating this triumph, how generous you're being with yourself in order to overcome whatever struggles, or there being a struggle with how you are able to come out of yourself, especially with that solitude there, come out of your ego in order to make these things happen. Let's see. Think about the commitments you've made. Do they raise your vibration just thinking about them, or do you feel a heaviness associated with the situation? Of course, we all have our moments of feeling less than enthusiastic. The question you may need to consider is if those moments of angst and resentment outweigh the love and support your commitment brings to your situation. Yeah, so really having to be honest with yourself and figure out if the energy that you're putting in, if the ways in which you're giving of yourself are worth it, are in your best interest. You know, loving yourself enough to be able to say, like, this is something that is not serving me, so I need to put my energy somewhere else. This has been such a recurring message, is redistributing, reclaiming our energy and redistributing it to what we need. In this case, just evaluating what within this, I'm really feeling work situation, it feels like just something that's not moving, something that you want to move, but the powers that be, whoever is in charge, is not allowing it to move any further, and that creating some resentment, and just, this may not be something that does move forward. Perhaps they're trying to keep you in that situation where, you have this hope that that you're gonna get that triumph, that you're gonna get that recognition, and it just doesn't come. So with the dominance card, like all creatures, crows establish a pecking order, and to do so, the stronger bird asserts its powers. Dominance indicates that you may be feeling restricted by someone, or that a stressful situation is impacting your thoughts and decisions. Someone or something may be flexing their muscle, which will cause friction within, as you may not be able to fight or defend yourself. Again, we're going back to that message of someone within a position of power preventing you from having the things that you want. Let's see. This card may represent a boss who makes you work overtime, a partner who always picks the restaurant, or a friend who always has to win. It may also indicate your need to be in control with that ego as well. On a positive note, dominance may indicate your power over something, your ability to control a situation. So yes, it becomes clearer the deeper we go. It seems like there is definitely something here, a power dynamic going on where you are not able to move past maybe a situation that you want to because of just a lack of, I want to say, cooperation. Someone else trying to always be in control, maybe not giving you the space you need in order to flex yourself in the way that you want to show yourself in the way that you want to. Yeah. And with this, nothing will come of this situation. I'm not somebody that's going to tell somebody to give up hope, but what I'm going to say is cut your losses. If it's something where it feels like you've been kind of pushing, and no matter what, you can't get out of this position of falling to somebody else's judgments or not having the freedom to be able to make your own judgments, then at that point, I think it's best to figure out somebody else that's going to pay you or give you the attention that you need. If it's very clear that you're just, the person is intent on not giving it. If the person is you, if you're the person that is kind of strangling onto control and not really willing to let things release, or you need to have the control, you're not like you're kind of living in your own ego, you have to divorce yourself from that. You have to really do the shadow work to know when is your need for dominance getting in the way of you progressing forward, getting in the way of you being generous, giving to others. But yeah, I'm really feeling like this is definitely like, it's feeling work situationy, and it's feeling like there is somebody, like somebody in a higher position that is just trying to block you, or yourself. You are blocking yourself. You're letting your ego determine things that you really need to be removing yourself from your ego to determine. Yeah, let's yeah, I keep wanting to explain more, but every time I go to, I just keep thinking that same thought process. Something just needs to be released, whether that's releasing your ego or releasing yourself from the grip of somebody else's ego. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to get an advice card here with my Flora and Fauna deck. For group 2, what advice do we need in this situation for November? What advice do we need in this situation for November? I'm tempted to grab some more clarifiers, but I feel like it's going to tell us the same thing. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The wake robin, inner voice, and the cicada. You are transforming into your best self. It is time to reemerge and use your voice to reconnect with the world around you. Yes, go back to yourself, your inner voice, your instinct. Look at the ways in which you've been operating and figure out what ways have you been maybe moving from your ego. What ways have you allowed other people to move you with their ego? You know what? And I am gonna get it. I did not do this for the other group, but for this particular situation, I do want to get another advice card, and we'll use our crow tarot. Can we get some more advice? Ooh. Ha! Hiya! Chopped out of there. So the Empress reversed for advice. And let me look at my little noties so you can get a full picture of this. Because Empress is usually very abundant, very fertile sort of feeling. But it can also have to do with just the innate world self. There's so with these two cards together, you need to listen to yourself. You need to listen to your intuition. They came out real, I feel like it came out real rough, but I just got this word. You have to listen to your intuition more. You have to trust, the Empress, the divine feminine. It feels like there's no trust there. There's no trust in your own self. Maybe you're holding off on making certain decisions because you're more wrapped up in the ego than what it is going on, and maybe what other people will think, or all of these other circumstances, when really it's not a great situation for you. Self-love here as well. You need to give yourself the grace and the love to not continue on in a situation where you're beholden to somebody else's ego. You need to trust your inner voice more, maybe even trying to think of it more rationally, when really you need to kind of sit with yourself and evaluate what is the actual, is it a situational issue, is it a self issue, and what do I need to do in order to rectify that, in order to make sure that I can live more comfortably with myself or in this situation. Yeah, I'm like that. This is one of the first readings that has been really heavy. But again, sometimes, the messages aren't always going to be great. There are times when you just need to cut something, where you need to either cut yourself off from, your path of ego thinking in terms of what other people think, what other people are doing, matching that, anything like that. You need to give yourself more credit, give yourself more love, more consideration, and not allow other people's demands of you, expectations of you to supersede your own expectations for yourself, your own goals, your own joys. You know, don't let other people dictate what is good enough for you, is what I'm hearing. Yes, don't let other people dictate what's good enough for you. If you want more, you deserve more, have more, ask for more. And if you're in a situation where they're not willing to give it to you, then dead it. Figure out a different way to go. If people are creating blockages and they just will not let you through, if you feel like it's worth it to keep fighting, you can, but never feel bad for just removing yourself, because you will probably have better options. If you think about being in a shit situation, like there's certain situations that you're in where it's like, God, anything would be better than this. If you're in a situation where like something that you would have thought was much worse is now seeming a lot better in comparison, that is a pretty good big wake up call. If like, for example, it's like maybe you're in a job where it seemed really great at first, and you're at the point where it's like, oh, I'd rather do probably the nastiest, most like physically demanding, backbreaking job ever than continue doing this, sitting in this office chair doing, menial office work. Like if it's not hitting your spirit, you gotta definitely evaluate whether or not you want to continue, because again, free will is your superpower. You can always go a different path. You don't have to keep going the path that you're going. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully it wasn't too dour, but we really want to be moving towards nurturing ourselves and giving ourselves the best love and consideration, and being loving and considerate in turn. So that's also to the people who you are the person, the ego that's in the way. Maybe somebody else's improvement. Self-reflection is very important. Inner voice is very important. Listening to your inner voice and being honest with yourself is very important. So have a little meditation session and see if there's anything that you need to clear out, or that anything where there's a blockage where instead of going through, it's better to just go around, But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for tuning in. You can certainly check other groups to see if you have other messages. This was very similar to another group, just kind of in different terms. But thank you for hanging out with me, and we'll see you at the next reading. Hello and welcome back. Thank you for dipping into my channel. This is my first pick a card, really. So forgive me of any hitches and hotches. Speaking of, actually, I started recording the third group and had to start over because my camera just stopped. It was too hard to parse where we were started from. So we weren't too far through it. We're going to dive right back in from the scratch. I have already shuffled this card deck. Pile 3, you will have chosen this tarot deck, and then we also have this fantastic little sparkly labradorite and our little potion bottle, obsidian and moonstone. So if you chose these, you'll be in group 3. So as with all the groups, we have all of these oracle cards I have not looked at. I did not get far enough in the reading the first time I tried to record this to have looked at any of these. So still don't know what's going on in there. And then I do also have, let me find my Lenormand. So we're going to start with the Lenormand. So far for the other groups, this has been a very big theme of release, letting go, whether it's with a friend situation or within the community social circles that you're in, or within work environment, or with just release. November is about it's cleaning house. We're just getting rid of anything we don't need. Oh, poor shuffle. You know what, maybe we didn't want to shuffle again anyway. So let's just do 2 Lenormand. For group 3, what is the overall for group 3, what is the overall energy for November? What do we have to look forward to for group 3? What is the energy for November? Ooh. Okay. this is, okay, you know what? I did actually pull the Lenormand the first time I recorded this, and this is very different. Thank goodness, because maybe this is a very different energy right off the bat when I only really got this far. So maybe it was just a matter of that was not the pull we wanted, and they restarted the whole camera for me so we could just start from scratch. So we got the clover and the heart, which I just I love it. 2, we got the 2, we got a 4, we got the 6 here as well. I love the energy of this. This is we've kind of had some like overall positive, kind of maybe not as positive, kind of neutral energy from each of the readings. So I feel a little bit more lighthearted, you know, a little bit heaviness in some of the other readings, but this is very nice. So it's looking like this is probably one of the clearest, most straightforward Lenormand pairs you could get. Opportunities, optimism, love, romance, compassion, charity, giving. So there's opportunities for love, for romance coming up. Excuse me. Give my leg a scratch real quick. I'll stop that over. But there's could be a lot of optimism even just around love and romance. So it's seeming like next month might be the one. It's cuffing season, so this could be the one where you know find somebody locked down for a few months. But yeah, there's some opportunities coming, not just in love and romance though. It could be just in terms of charity, either like just the heart is like compassion. It's not just love, romance, but more than anything, the heart represents compassion and care. So giving and getting care, being cared for, and just there could be some opportunities for that, or just like some good opportunities, good luck, or just feeling optimistic that at your prospects, we'll say. So this is nice. This is nice. I love this. I'll put this here just in case you want to see. We'll have to move that over a little later. But let's get the pairs for this. So for the clover and for the heart, poor shuffle. For the clover and the heart here, let's get some tarot clarifiers. I love reading tarot and Lenormand together because it can really, I don't know, it makes the reading a little bit more complex. Gives the specificity that I like. Yeah, let's gather the gals together. So for this clover, let's get some clarity for group 3. Ooh, bam. Look, for those that do other cartomancers, people that read and pull cards, it's just the joy you get when you get that confirmation, opportunities. Look, we got all this fruit growing. It's ready. It's like we are already plucking. We are plucking the fruit. We're getting ready for the bountiful harvest. The 10 is us being able to enjoy the meal. The 9 is us gathering all of this and just like looking at what it is that we've just okay. I love it. So opportunities lining up here. Even this Ace of Pentacles. This is nice. I will say for the first time doing pick a cards, it's interesting feeling the different energies of each group, and it's like even ones that feel very similar, there's a different energy around what the core of that message is. So let's pull for the heart. Let's get a clarifier. Whoa, Page of Cups reverse. I think we had a Page of Cups as well in the first reading, but let's see. Because Page of Cups is usually very romantic and things like that, but the Page of Cups reverse can be a little, again, like naive, a little fresh, just new, haven't even gone out to try it out, just got the information. The Knight, we haven't even gone out to apply that to anyone, but it could also be just feeling insecure. I love how this is cross the clover, opportunity and like optimism. But yeah, this is, this reading is very fun so far. Some of those, the other energies were heavy. So this is a nice little change. So let's get into it. The clover, the opportunity card, we already kind of went into that. That 9 of Pentacles, like everything's grown. Go in the kitchen, cook it. When we hit that 10, we get to have a big party. we have the heart, romance, compassion, and I think what's coloring this is maybe there is some insecurity around that. Maybe there's like wanting to be optimistic, but you know, you still have to contend with your insecurity still. Like, just because you're optimistic about something doesn't mean it just snaps away. Yeah. It could also be that you're kind of stuck within. Yeah. Maybe, maybe not so much insecurity as it's a lack of vulnerability. It's a lack of, and I'm thinking back on one of the other readings that this Page of Cups appeared in, and how different the feeling was in having it. But it feels like with like love, romance, with that sort of energy, it's like a fear, afraid of it. Like living in your own idealism versus being realistic about it, and not even in the way that you would imagine. Well, I don't know how you'd imagine it, and that may not be, tell people how they think, but I think maybe most people would think of it as, I'm like, ooh, caught up. I don't know, my words are caught in my throat. Maybe that's how you feel. Maybe because the Page of Cups can be a lack of vulnerability. So maybe, you're having trouble expressing or being vulnerable in those romantic situations. You don't have too much confidence in your ability to open up fully in those situations. Rather spill it than share it. Like, if these are your emotions, you'd rather just dump them than give them to someone else. Yeah. I'm very excited to look at the oracle cards for this. But yeah, and I do have my little notes. As I mentioned before, as I learn, especially as I learn to read for other people and read more broadly on different topics, I like to take notes. Keep my notes. I have a little Excel spreadsheet that I have for my Lenormand, because I went the farthest you could go in trying to organize that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's very much like, how do I I've never been so speechless in a reading before. I want to almost pull these cards. I just flipped one of the oracle cards, and already I'm just gonna go ahead and pull them because I've already seen one of them. So I got a new romantic cycle begins. Emotions are running high. For our themes, okay, look at this. Do I have to? Let's push this up so we can get a good view of everything. Look at this. House or move. It will work out. Addiction or codependency. And then we have observation and teamwork. Wow. Okay. So yeah, with the opportunities and the Nine of Pentacles, like taking into account the heart as well, because that really is giving this a very, kind of firm love romance swing to it. You could be a bad bitch. You could be a bad bitch that feels like they don't need anybody. Like, I got it on my own. You could be somebody that's just not too interested in that, focusing more on, growing your own personal, world, your own personal cache of material, non-material, spiritual, energy things, whatever it may be. Working on yourself, building for your own. But I think that you still, even if you want to tell yourself that you don't need it, and this was very fun, being able to read across and vertically and horizontally. and maybe you don't even explicitly tell yourself that you don't need it. Maybe you do want it, but the fact that you don't have it, you could give yourself the excuse of, oh, it's fine because I have all this other stuff going on. I've been there. So this is not a, call out. This is, just being forward. But I'm definitely seeing that this is something that you do want, even if you feel like maybe you don't have the time for it or you have other things that are more your focus. But we have new romantic cycle begins. And I mean, while that can definitely be a sign of like, somebody new explicitly coming in, it could also, if you're not really feeling like you're at the point where you want to open yourself up to, when you're not feeling like you can be vulnerable with someone else, it could just be a new cycle of evaluating that and figuring out steps you take to get more secure in yourself so you feel more comfortable. So there could be some issues with addiction or codependency, not just to substances. It could be to people, it could be to work, it could be working out, it could be to any number of things. So maybe there are things like this that are, preventing you, or not so much preventing you, but making it harder to be vulnerable in romantic situations. But there is opportunity here because you're working on yourself, because you're focusing more on yourself, or if you give yourself the space to do that, you can create a more secure self. You can get rid of these issues around codependency or addiction, needing something, having to have someone rather. But this is definitely leading into the work that you're doing is leading into creating more opportunities around romance for you, creating more healthy opportunities. We don't have a million of time, so I do want to read both of these for you, so I'll read both of them back to back. The new moon in Libra, a new romantic cycle begins. Ooh. Give and take could well be the answer to whatever dilemma you're asking about. Compromise may be called for. It's time to start negotiating or even renegotiating. When the new moon in Libra comes up, there's a restart for you and for someone else. A new relationship could be beginning. And if that's the case, the chances are this will be a healthy and well-balanced connection. In anything you do after pulling this card, doing it in pairs is advised, such as teaming up with someone in business or in personal life. Libra is the sign of relating, and this card suggests that whoever is at the heart of the issue you're addressing is someone who will be open to talking things through. Avoid being selfish. It won't get you anywhere at this time. Reach out to someone and let them know you care. Feel more, think less. Marriage or engagement could be in the cards, so who knows? A legal matter will go your way. Pay attention to your appearance, but don't be all about appearances. So, you could use yourself, if you're feeling extra fly, you might want to put a little something extra cute, go into the grocery store or something. Don't be afraid to, peacock yourself a little bit if you're feeling in the mood to do that, And then with the supermoon, emotions are running high. This card suggests that the answer to whatever you're asking is writ large, like the silvery full moon set against the velvety night sky. If you're wondering how successful something's going to be, such as a job or relationship, the answer is very. To use common parlance, the answer to your question may well be that it's under your nose. This card is about being larger than life, being special and bursting with energy that you can tune into and work with. You can expect plenty of good things and positive outcomes when this card comes up, but you may find there's a lot of emotions to deal with too. There's also a sense that the opportunities around whatever you're asking don't come along every day, so take action. Success is close. I just must try. A resolution to your question is closer than you may think. Don't ignore the obvious. Something exciting lies ahead. Make sure you don't blow events out of proportion. Speak to the goddess. Ask her for assistance. So, yes. So it seems like we are definitely there are, like I said, when we started, straight up, there are opportunities and building optimism around prospects for love and romance. Like I think I just heard someone upstairs coughing. So, just a cold, don't worry. Not the C. But yeah, there's definitely some opportunities that are coming up, and the work that you put into yourself to nurture yourself, to deal with any issues, I mean, it will work out. We have the confirmation. Everything's very purple, very just lovely purples, reds. We got just a lot of like loving, kind of romantic energy. But don't, I don't want to tell you what to do. Let me not say don't. I will say be very mindful of how you are treating yourself in the situation. You know, make sure that you're not losing yourself, codependency, to someone else, but also don't close yourself off completely. You know, don't shut yourself out because of things that may have happened before, blah, 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 blah. Like, you've been putting in work. You've been putting in work to improve. You've been putting in work to deal with that shadow work. So don't don't feel like you have to close yourself off completely, shut you, like that's gonna have the opposite effect. It's gonna have the opposite effect. That could be the issue, the cycle that you keep running into. You know, it's not just anxious attachment styles. It's what is it? Avoidant attachment styles. So this feels like a call out post. Ooh, this is a little bit cally outy, but yeah, like there are opportunities out there. Continue being optimistic about them. Continue working on yourself so you can accept those very healthy, stable, and you'll have the experience and the work with self to know what isn't healthy and be able to skirt past those to the side, because you don't need it. You no longer need to be in those spaces of toxicity, of imbalance, of codependency. It's gonna work out. We're moving away. But yeah, you could be maybe moving. These increased opportunities for romance could have to do with you moving or changing location, or just being in a different environment than you were. That could be, you know, maybe you just moved to a different job, or you're moving to a different area, different house, something like that. But that could be something that catalyzes that, or that, you know, starts off that cycle. So let's quickly get into that observation and teamwork. A 34, which is goes to 7. 48 goes to 3, I believe. Let's see, the observation. The crow watches the spider, intrigued by how it catches its meal. The crow could simply pluck that spider right up, but instead it decides to learn a little first. Now that sounded loud. That was loud. Instead of just jumping into relationships or jumping into whatever the first prospect that you like is, watching and observing and knowing when to just keep your beak closed versus just picking up whatever bug flies near you first. Woo, that's loud. Observation asks that you hold back from reacting and take some time to analyze the situation. There may be something of value that will only reveal itself if given the time. This card may also indicate that you would be better served by being a spectator and staying out of the situation. You will learn more from listening than from talking. So, and this is very, very true in dating situations. I find is that sometimes if you just sit and kind of watch how the person acts, and that's something that I didn't know back in my younger years, and kind of looking back in retrospect, I'm like, if I would have just kind of sat and known all the things I know and been able to like just sit and observe and kind of sit in that, not let my excitement overcome me, I would have seen the flags much brighter, much louder. But yeah, let's see. Teamwork. Crows have mastered teamwork. Mobbing is one example of how crows work together on a common goal. When an intruder or predator enters their territory, the birds jump into orchestrated action. Each member of the group holds an advantageous position in fighting off the threat. If your situation is a bit more complex, or you could use an extra hand, teamwork will be the solution to finding success. Call upon your team, your family, or your friends to assist you when facing a challenge that requires more than you can comfortably handle. Teamwork strengthens bonds, creates positive memories, and reinforces an awareness that you are not alone. So this is actually kind of pulling me back to this Page of Cups reverse, and this struggle with feeling vulnerable, like kind of going in alone, working, doing your own thing, that independence. Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness. Yeah, almost knocked that down. Like the independence. But needing to open yourself up to people more, to collaborate with other people more, in a genuine way and not in just a, kind of surface level way. Like if they're people that you're genuinely interested in, people that you are with, people that you want to be with, just not cutting yourself off to them, to opening up to them when you feel comfortable. Just got to open up to somebody right out the gate. Don't feel like you got to just, throw it all on the table all at once. But being able to, look, if you're really honest with yourself, and I've had to be with myself as well, you'll know if you have intimacy issues. You'll know if you have issues. And if you don't know, when you put in the shadow work, you probably could be in situations where I know something's not right. Even if I don't know what it is, I know something's not right. And it's all steps. You start from the step of, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't make me feel good. Why doesn't it make me feel good? What can I look for in other people that won't lead to that, or that I can know will lead to that, so I can avoid that? It's all learning baby steps, but you know better than anyone where you're at. And if you're unsure of where you're at, then you can put in the work to figure out what that is, to put it to do the internal work, to figure out what that is. But I feel compelled to say, that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to be with people and not allowed to have people. This could be a message for people that are already in relationships. This could be a new cycle of maybe moving away from being more emotionally avoidant with your partner to opening up a little bit more, or being more vulnerable with people, even just like friends. Just being more vulnerable and being more honest with that. That's not to say you can't be with someone if you don't have a certain amount of internal work done. You're going to be doing internal work for the rest of your life. So trying to wait until you have some sort of perfect internal structure, even people that have secure attachments can still struggle with things that they've previously worked through. That shit will just pop up out of nowhere. So don't feel like you have to only work on yourself. And then, it's important to work on yourself to a point, at least, where you feel confident and comfortable with setting boundaries. I think that's something that you practice with other people as well. You don't have to be in a romantic relationship to do so, but it is important to have boundaries and to expect the most for yourself. But that's not once you do that, you're allowed to. You can be in a relationship whenever you want to. But as we're personally developing, you have to be responsible for taking care of and developing yourself to have secure, happy, fulfilling connections with yourself and with other people. So what's some advice going through? I don't know why, just felt compelled to say all that. We don't have too much time, so I want to give you your advice card. Fearlessness. Aha, not being afraid of opening up to people. Face your fears, open up, and be vulnerable. I didn't even read that part yet. Isolation is not the only way to protect yourself. Proceed with caution and confidence. You can be out there, you can get out there, you can meet other people, be with the people you're with, and you can, open yourself up to people while still being cautious and still being considerate of how you feel, what you're comfortable with, waiting, observing, kind of seeing who the person is, seeing what the situation is, just objectively, instead of with idealized eyes. So no, this is boding really well. Proud of you for doing all the work that you're doing. Like I said, we're doing work for our entire lives, changing, developing our entire lives. So know that everything will work out. Just keep moving forward. Don't be afraid to open up to the people that you want to open up with. Thank you for stopping through. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was helpful. And I'll see you next time.